Hello, my name is Felix, and what I want to talk to you guys about today is how to control your thought pattern using words. Thing is, now we hear a lot of people saying that we have to control the types of thoughts we think. So, if it may be rewiring something from a negative thought to positive thoughts, like for example, being always negative minded to positive minded. And people often find themselves in a situation where they are not able to control this. And at a very, very high level, it is something that takes a great deal of difficulty and expertise to attain. So definitely controlling your thoughts to a point where you are the one dictating what's going on up here, it's definitely challenging, right? So today I kind of want to talk to you guys about a few steps of how to do this and how to begin. One of the most basic things that controls our thought pattern and the way we think is, think about it. Right here, it's our words. So one of the things our words dictate and the choice of vocabulary that we use on day-to-day life dictate what type of thoughts we think and what type of persons we are. So for example, if all day I am saying how I'm doing bad, I'm having a bad day, how I'm tired, I'm not doing great in work, I'm always lonely. If we keep saying these things out loud to other people when we talk and when we express ourselves, this is impactfully what's gonna come up here, because thoughts are actually self-reinforcing. So whatever you think, it's gonna self-reinforce, because you're gonna think it again. It's gonna become more solidified in your brain that that's what you are, who you are, what you think. So definitely one of the first ways to attack this problem is to start controlling your words, the types of vocabulary you're using, and just overall your choice of words. Let's say, for example, kind of trying to change the connotation. We can take and analyze a word. For example, the word sad. Let's say you may not having the best day and you want to tell yourself, you still want to be congruent with with what you're feeling, right? You don't want to straight up lie to someone, oh, I'm doing great, when you really when you're sad. One way that we could do this is we can say, I'm not feeling great, but I'm hanging in there, something happened today and, I'm not at my peak. That's fine. Instead of saying, oh, I'm sad because this happened. Yes, that is true that you're sad, but the way that you express yourself that to other people and to yourself, to your mind, because we're always listening up here, that affects whatever you are going to think. So, for example, you say you're sad, you're going to self-reinforce back up here in your mind that you're sad, and it's going to make you, in turn, more sad. So it's kind of a perpetuating link, so per se. So if we can find a way to stop saying these words with bad connotations, like for example, bad, sad, mad, worst, what else? These are the most basic, just like these types of words. If we can eliminate them from our vocabulary, things are gonna start up here are gonna start changing a little bit. Even though it's very small, you can start realizing a degree of freedom and a degree of you having control up here, because words do dictate how we think. Absolutely. For example, you think of someone that speaks in a very language that's not sophisticated. They present themselves in that way, and in turn, what happens and what do they think up here? That they're not that sophisticated. So let's take on the contrary, someone that speaks with very fluent English and in a manner that they can use difficult vocabulary and just pretty much complete expression of using words. They have this self-reinforcing thought pattern that they're sophisticated, that they're smart, that they are intelligent. So now there we can see a kind of a pattern where this starts to dictate up what happens up here. One of the other things is what they call affirmations. So there's a lot of people in the self-help industry that they talk about affirmations. And what affirmations are is there's sentences that you tell to yourself, kind of to try to embody that phrase. So for example, I may say in the mornings, I'm strong, I'm strong, I'm strong. And in turn, that's going to train our brain to think that, oh, I'm strong. So therefore, that's another way that we can also train our thoughts and disrupt our thought pattern using our choice of words. But that would be intrapersonal because you're telling it to yourself. Now, we're focusing more on the interpersonal side of things, where we're discussing with other people and how we expressing ourselves, pretty much. We need to try and find a way to rephrase everything that we know to be of negative connotation and bring it in the light of positive one. So I was reading the other day a book where it talked about how in sales there's some words that you do not want to use just because they have a negative connotation attached to it. For example, the word contract. The word contract, when somebody hears that, it immediately points into your brain that that's something where you're going to be tied into a contract and you're not going to be able to get out of it. So what the author instead changes the word to is to an agreement, right? So an agreement is an agreement between two people that we're going to do these two things. Even though that they may be the same thing, the difference in connotation from each word, the word contract and the word agreement, is completely different. So let's take a look at another one. Another word was appointment. Appointment, the connotation with the word appointment is that you're going to go there and you're going to go get the contract or the agreement. Now, instead of calling it appointment, the author once again calls it meeting. Meeting is where you discuss with someone what's going to happen, or they run through an agenda, rather than an appointment where you're going to pretty much get the contract. So he kind of just shifts his whole choice of words from a negative light view in society to a more positive one, because every single word in every single language has a slightly different meaning to it. And they may be very, very slight, but the difference in just by the use of society using that word, the difference between two words may amplify very, very greatly. So just kind of putting into perspective, both affirmations where you tell yourself that you are something, that I'm good, I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to win, I'm going to get the agreement. Things like this, they're gonna help you rewire up here, right? You're gonna start believing that, and also try and avoid the choice of words that have a negative connotation attached to it, or just do not serve you in the best purpose. So my friend Ben, every time I ask you, how are you? He always tells me, oh man, I'm doing fucking fantastic. And I didn't think of it much at first. I thought that was a little bit weird, but now I get it. He's expressing that to me because that's the way he wants to feel. And if he expresses that to me, that kind of just back from here to here is going to bring back to his mind saying that, oh, I'm doing fantastic, Therefore, we can see definitely a connection. I never thought of that, but in recent days, I've seen definitely the purpose of that, and I think it's amazing. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys found the content helpful. It's gonna be my first video on YouTube, so